My son said he hated being my son, so I gave him what he wanted. My son Ethan and I used to be close. Movie nights, pancakes on Saturdays, long talks in the car. Then somewhere between middle school and high school, he changed. Suddenly I wasn't funny anymore. I was embarrassing. I wasn't helpful, I was annoying. And everything I said turned into an argument. At first, I blamed hormones. Then I blamed myself. Maybe I was too protective. Maybe I expected too much. But I never expected the day he'd look at me with actual disgust. It happened after a parent-teacher conference. I'd found out he'd been skipping classes, failing 2 subjects, and lying about it for weeks. When we got home, I told him I was disappointed. Not angry, just disappointed. He exploded. "You're such a control freak! You ruin everything! I hate living here, I hate being your son!" The silence after that felt like a punch. I just stood there trying to process that my baby, the same kid who used to write me best mom ever cards, meant every word. He slammed his door so hard the picture frames fell. I sat in the hallway until I couldn't hear him crying anymore. Then I went to bed and cried quietly so he wouldn't hear me. The next morning I didn't wake him up, didn't pack his lunch, didn't remind him about homework. If he wanted a world without me, I'd let him have it. For a week I became invisible. No questions, no nagging, no good morning. He came and went as he pleased. The house was quiet, painfully quiet. I thought he'd enjoy the freedom. He didn't. After a few days he stopped talking altogether. He'd eat in his room. Didn't look at me. Didn't even ask for help when he lost his jacket. We were strangers living under one roof. Then came the line that broke me. I offered him dinner and he muttered, "You don't have to pretend to care." I asked, "Why would you say that?" He said, "Because you only care when it makes you look like a good mom." That one crushed me. I didn't argue. I just turned off the stove and went to my room. I sat there staring at my hands, thinking about all the nights I'd stayed up with him when he was sick, all the birthdays I'd worked extra hours to afford. And now I was nothing more than a performance in his eyes, so I stopped performing. Days passed. He started missing meals. His uniform was wrinkled. He failed another test. His friends stopped picking him up. I didn't say a word. One night I heard him on the phone with his dad, a man who hadn't seen him in years. He said, "Can I live with you? I can't stand her." My heart dropped, but I stayed quiet. A week later, he packed a bag and left. He didn't even say goodbye. For 2 months, I didn't hear from him. The first week, I checked my phone every 5 minutes. By week 3, I stopped eating properly. By week 6, I started therapy because I couldn't function. The silence was worse than any argument. Then one evening in January, there was a knock at the door. When I opened it, there he was, like thinner, pale, dark circles under his eyes. Holding a torn backpack, he said softly, "Can I come in?" He'd gone to live with his dad. Apparently, freedom came with conditions. His dad worked late, didn't cook, and told him to man up whenever he tried to talk. He'd been sleeping on the couch, barely eating, and realized the only person who ever really saw him was me. He said, "I thought you loved being in control. I didn't know you were the only one who actually cared. I didn't say I told you so. I just hugged him and said, 'Welcome home.'" He cried into my shoulder for the first time in years. Scene 8, the rebuild. It wasn't easy after that. We went to therapy together. He apologized for the things he said, and I admitted I wasn't perfect either. But slowly, we learned how to talk again, without shouting, without pride. He's 17 now. Still moody sometimes, but when he leaves the house, he always says, "Love you, Mom." And every time, I hold on to those words.